All right, guys, we are live here. It is, what is it? March 2nd. Oof, wow. Uh, HeartlandDefenders.com, Heartland Defenders on YouTube, and nowhere else.
Truth.
Not on the F
Truth.
book.
We are not.
At some point, we're expecting Jacob. We don't know.
Yeah.
With his new job, we're not sure his times. So
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Jacob, if you get the thing and you can hear us, hi, we're here.
Hey, we're live.
Let's see here. You might look.
2 seconds.
Nope.
I'm just sharing this on F-Book real quick.
Yeah.
I do like to annoy them.
Yeah, because that's the F book. I know something posted on my page about the show. Oh, yeah,
Really?
there it is. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
It automatically posts to my page.
Right.
Oh, yeah. See, we don't want that. Let's go ahead and edit
See,
that.
I can't ever get... What's weird is I always have to... It won't ever let me go back to comments. And I've never figured out why.
Right.
Oh, nope. There it is. Haha.
I don't know why it's requiring. I think they finally deleted our Heartland page off of Facebook like altogether.
Oh, yeah.
And I do believe that it forced me to use my Facebook page because I used my Facebook page to get to the Heartland Facebook page.
Oh, right.
So now it has shows me being live playing Heartland so on Facebook, and I don't understand why it's doing that. So I do apologize to everybody who's on my Facebook right now. But hi, I do a show if you haven't seen
funny.
my face sharing.
You know what? I haven't. I honestly, I haven't even checked to see if it, when all the other stuff came back, if it came back.
None of it did.
None of it did. Okay.
None of it came back. What ended up happening is it just kept staying gone, but it showed as an option for me to still send our show to Facebook. So, but there was no place it was going to. I guess they finally finalized us not being Facebook anymore. So
Yeah, they probably marked us as, well, you guys don't use the page anymore, so
right. So
and you can't find it, but.
Right, and now I've just noticed too that since I've added a fourth display, this is going to be hard. I have to figure out which one is the one that you guys, which ones, because I added a fourth display.
Oh yeah, the pictures are definitely different now, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually trying to fix the two screens. Oh, see, because yes, so lean back a little bit. There you go. Now we can use this one, and the other one can be fixed now while we're talking here on the show.
Gotcha.
So for some reason it was picking the wrong screens, but I had changed screens, moved them around, got them up off the desk. That's why we weren't live last week. It's because the entire studio was tore apart and laying in the corner of the room while I was making a 6-screen monitor mount setup. So now I have a wonderful 6 screens all around.
Nice. Now, does that help you when you play that new thing you're doing?
Yes. So it does, because I have the whole windshield right and left windows for the car right here. Then I have stuff I can put on this monitor up here, and then I also have another computer that has 2 more monitors attached to it.
Slick.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Nice.
No Star Destroyer backstrap yet there, Palmer. We'll get there sooner or later.
We don't know where he's at, so that's all right. All right, so we'll move on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This week, like, we were talking about off air, man, it's like, it's weird. It's, with the, other than, I know, I have gotten... They finally added text on Congress.gov on some of those, crazy bills and stuff that we've been watching.
Yes.
But it's funny, they're still pretty vague in nature. They're not really. They still haven't put out any real other than that one, the 127 whatever, whoever's name it is that's attached to that one. The girl from Texas.
Right.
But they're just not. It's funny. You know, they're just not saying much about these bills. They're very vague and where they're going to go. And then, um, the crazy thing is, I don't know if you heard this morning, they're thinking about voting on 127 this week or next week.
Oof.
Yeah.
Now, why would they want to push that so fast? Does anybody
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, and here's the weird thing. So about these bills, if they vote on it, they're basically going to skip committee because it hasn't been sent to committee yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess technically they can. Now, the only thing I can think of is the reason they wouldn't send it to committee is because for me, this is just me. This may not reflect the group of, the thoughts of all the people in the group, Heartland Defenders. But for me, I was thinking about it. This would be a perfect way to say, we got the bill through. Because here's the thing: when you do a bill like this through the House and through the Senate with no committee, you basically almost automatically open it up to go to SCOTUS to then determine the constitutionality, because that's what a lot of they do in committee. They'll decide the constitutionality of each piece of it.
Right.
So my only thought is they ram it through without going through committee. They get the 50-50 split, and Kamala plays hero and passes it. And then they send it to the conservative SCOTUS, and they throw it out, and then they can blame the conservatives. It almost writes itself. It's perfect. It's perfect politics. Rather than doing it the right way, because nobody will care that they didn't send it to committee, and they'll look. All Democrats voted for it. All Republicans voted against it. Blah 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 blah. Kamala played hero, and then the evil SCOTUS turned it down. They won't look at the picture of, well, yeah, they turned it down because it's unconstitutional.
Right.
That's why they. It's not because the Democrats voted for it. It's because it's not constitutional, which is why they didn't send it to committee, because they knew it would get torn to shreds.
Right.
Or another, purely political. The Republicans pull a filibuster, and they wind up tearing it apart, sending it back to Congress, back to the House, then back to the Senate, then they send it back and forth, and by the time it's done, it doesn't look anything like the bill is supposed to. But they'll still claim victory because they passed the gun law, and none of it's going to happen because it's been shredded. And again, what do? The next school shooting or whatever. Oh, it's because the Republicans made us take all this stuff out of the bill.
Right.
It's just, it's sad because I almost feel like anymore, like you can just, everything's a bad script and you already know the ending.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I mean, like you and I were talking before the show too, the weird change in the online environment with everybody since the new president has taken over. How you don't see people basically going at each other's throats and disowning each other and...
No. Yeah, everybody's gone back to their own corners. They're still screaming in their own corners, but they're not screaming at each other.
Right. Or piling on in each other's posts or, ganging up on each other. I mean, there's always going to be the people that are a bit extreme either way. We all know them. Yeah. We all have those feeds that we, watch go flying by, and yeah.
Paul, and what Palmer, yeah. But yeah, exactly, Palmer. And I think that's the whole, and I think that's what we've talked about as a group, we've talked about as individually, is that's the problem anymore. they don't do anything. They all they do is play politics in the end to get elected. And I don't know if I think I mentioned it on here and maybe I didn't, but it's why the EU, the Economist, they're a big organization that decides what they're a big think tank for basically for businesses and countries. They help them decide who they want to do business with, or if you have a particular kind of widget, what countries would be best suited for manufacturing it, for selling it. They take all that into their and then basically create a portfolio for businesses and or countries. And they decided before Trump was elected that we were a flawed democracy. And yes, we are a form of democracy. Easy. I know it's a republic. Just down. But in our form of, in democracy, under the full heading, they consider us a flawed democracy based on two biggest things are, one, our mistrust of our government, and two, the fact that more than 60% of our legislation is, I think it was like 64 or 68% of our legislation does not benefit the people. It usually benefits lobbyists and or legislators, not the people. So they have decided that, when they put our portfolio together, they consider us a flawed democracy because it's no longer working for the people.
Right.
And it's not. It's politics. It's not government anymore. It's just politics.
And yeah, and I'm sick of politics. I mean,
aren't you though?
I don't know. A lot of people give us flack for being as politically outspoken as we are, at times. But you have to be at some point. You have to be.
Yeah.
But I get sick of the politics. Now the government.
It's flawed. It has its flaws.
It's flawed. But I'm sick of the games and the politics that are played with, well, if it's not my guy that brings it up, I'm not voting for it. Right. Is it good for the people or not? Yes or no? Don't vote for it because the same party you're with is voting for it. You vote for it because it's good for the people.
Okay, well, that goes to what's happening right now with all these executive orders. Any person on that side or whatever that might listen to this later, I don't dislike Biden for just because he's that guy and he's on that side. What I dislike about what he's doing right now is the fact that he is just unsigning everything Trump did because it has Trump's name on it. Right. He's not giving any reason, oh, well, this was, I'm taking this away because either A, we have a better plan, or B, this is bad for America, or B, this is hurting the lower. If it came with an explanation, I might, back is a strong word, but I might not think he's as big of an idiot. But the fact of the matter is that he's just politics. Oh, Trump's name's on that? Delete. All he's doing is deleting everything Trump did because Trump did it.
So then that makes you ask the question, who's the puppet master hand that's like, we don't like this because it was just him, so let's just get rid of all of him. Right. So when we're finally done, they can't claim that he did such this great stuff or anything great because we just negated it all. Right.
And it's, and we've talked about lobbyists and I think maybe we should clarify too. Lobbying, the act of lobbying is not the problem. Mm. You should, because when we decide, oh my God, here it is.
There it is.
Hide your children. Hide your children.
Hide your children.
But no, when you see, he quits the cable company and now he can't connect.
They're like, watch this.
But no, lobbying, fundamentally, lobbying itself is not the problem. It's not that, because what we do here is lobbying, basically. I mean, we're lobbying for, better government, for them to do what they're supposed to do. So we're lobbying. It's when the money gets involved, because you shouldn't need money to lobby.
No.
You shouldn't, oh, hey, if you vote this way because it's good for America, how many hundreds do you want? That's not lobbying. That's just flat out buying the vote.
Right.
Lobbying in itself is part of the whole process. I mean, in a way, our redress of grievances is lobbying to the government that we no longer like what they're doing or how they're doing it, or the fact that they're not even doing it constitutionally. That's lobbying.
You want to know where I was?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's up?
I've been listening to you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, but I mean, and I think a lot of people mistake that, and we've made the mistake too.
What I was going to say, you know where I was?
No.
I was at the phone store.
Well, oh boy, what'd you do now?
I was trying to do an upgrade on my phone.
Oh.
When you go buy a car, you should be pretty versed in the idea that you're going to be there a while.
Well, yeah. If you don't know by now that the phone store's the same way, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that. There was quite a few people in front of us. Understood. I understood the people in front of us may or may not have the technical understanding and knowledge that I have of phones and computers and things like that. I get that too. But when you get up to the counter and it takes the representative about 10 minutes to even get the system to accept all of your identification and information, that's your government at work. And it's and then hold on. I'm talking about the red tape, the bureaucracy, and everything else that you've been talking about from the phone store. So it took the rep like 10 minutes to even get the system to accept like the ID that it took a picture of. If it had too much glare, it wouldn't accept it. Just red tape BS crap, right? Just to get into my account and to look at the phones that I have so I can upgrade my phone.
I got you.
Well, then once we're all through there, we're getting ready to do the upgrade. We're like, all right, putting in all the information to do it. And it pops up this big red indicator and says, oh no, there's a future billing something or other. You can't do anything on your account. It's not a bill that's due. It's just the system puts this thing on there because the two companies are merging. So according to the rep, she's like, oh, this is happening. This has been happening for the past week. We have to call and ask for them to do this to take this off.
Jesus.
So she calls. 20-some minutes later, they answer the phone. 10 minutes after that, the guy says, well, I tried 5 times and it doesn't work. They can't do anything until the 5th. Why is it on my account? Why do I, to me, that's like the no-fly list. Like I got put on something on my account that I can't do an upgrade.
That's possible.
I don't owe money. I don't owe him money. I'm within my upgrade time. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to upgrade.
Oh, there's reasons, Jacob. That's
why because I was sitting at the phone store trying to upgrade a phone, which should have took 10 minutes, and it took an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
They didn't have any of the phones with the special chips to give you.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
yeah. Tracker chips, yeah.
We don't have the phones for those guys.
This guy gets the special phone, so we know where he's at.
No, well, the politics thing, it
sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be honest? Do either of you guys actually pay attention to it every day, all day through the week? Or do we just kind of dump file ourselves Monday night into Tuesday night and say,
talk
about the most recent?
I've got I've narrowed it down to let me think here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4. Yeah, there's four. Now I had like probably 15, 20 of them, but I'm down to 4. Call it alternative news feeds that I get every morning. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening. I'm almost never look at the afternoon ones because it's pretty much a rehash of the morning,
right?
And then the evening's kind of a rehash of both. So I look at the evening one and the morning one. Right. But yeah, I mean, so I keep up. I now do I look for the cliff notes on most of it? Sure. I look for something that catches, if it's, hey, Biden did this today, I'm usually like, don't give a shit. Oh, Biden's signing another executive order. Shocker. Oh, now it's, Cuomo's the new Mr. Touchy. I mean, that's like, 3 stories, and I'm like, I'm so, but what I am noticing though, is what Jeremy just said, the lack of fervor, and maybe this is our fault. But the lack of fervor by that side, I don't even want to say us, because I feel we try to be fairly neutral here. We pretty much call bullshit out on both sides. Sure, is there more BS seems to be coming from that side? It does. But I think we're pretty fair about calling shit out if we see something that stinks. But the same, where are the Yahoo Trump people now that Como, is Mr. Touchy? Dude, let's be honest. If that was Trump, if somebody had said Trump was harassing somebody behind stage or whatever, or making a female like that feel uncomfortable, dude, that would be on a 24-hour reel on CNN, MSNBC.
But that's the hypocrisy of the mainstream media, and we know that already. They're not. This is going to be bottom. It'll be front page, but it'll be the below the fold.
Oh yeah.
Articles. It's not. Well, it's not going to be headline 24-hour news.
MSNBC,
if it was Trump, yeah.
Well, right. Oh, exactly. But here's the other thing too. Has anybody noticed? Now I only know because I watch alternative news. Dude, Antifa's been rioting in Portland almost every day since Biden took office.
Yep.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know unless you have your alternate news sources.
Yep. Yeah, it's the only reason you would know.
What senator was it that brought that up at a committee hearing? They were like, "Hey, Mr. Guy from Portland, how many days have you been dealing with rioters attacking federal, state, and local buildings?"
Oh no, that's when they're interviewing the guy for the position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I think we're going on 177 days or something like that." And the guy's like, "And all of you Congress people acted like it was an act of terrorism when they did it."
But don't you remember his answer? Well, it's different though. It's usually at night and nobody's there.
Oh.
So it's okay.
Wait, does that make it
okay?
So is that what makes it terrorism if it happens when you're there and during the day? Is that?
Well, duh. If it doesn't happen during the day,
take note, guys.
Yeah.
For all of you watching, take note.
Yeah. So yeah, for our friends overseas that that like to blow things up. As long as you do it at night, you're okay.
Well,
as long as nobody's there and you're doing it at night, you're good. It's not terrorism. No. They won't send you to get them out.
Oh, God.
Take note.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Have you had a conversation with let's call them what it is. Have you had a conversation yet with a lefty over the bombing of Syria?
Oh, that didn't happen.
Some of them don't even know it even happened.
They just melt down. Orange. They just melt down. It's like mean tweets. Okay, hold on. Mean tweets versus killing people. One of these are not the same. He said mean words.
It's only bad when Orange does it.
Right. Mean words, killing people. Mean words, killing people.
But it's okay. It's when he had to do it. They don't know why he had to do it, but he had.
I like the fact that Kamala's a little pissed off, and Joe should probably be watching his morning cereal.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you, some of the stuff I've seen, like, kind of not that she knows she's always on camera now, but some of the little like snippets here and there of her like being, I would say, a little more candid because there's less people in the room than normal. It's like you're right. If Kamala invites me for dinner, if I was Joe, I would go no. No. That is a no-go, Joe. I'm just telling you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to live past 105, you probably ought to not go.
Well, if at 105, you can still go back into Congress, so it's okay. He's still got a career.
Not that he should be able to have one.
Dude, it's and why is it when you get into a conversation about obviously I would assume most people have seen him where he just completely stumbled at that press conference.
Yeah. I've seen that video.
Which one? I mean, there's so many to go.
Well, the newest one where he's like, "Well, what am I doing here? Wait, I'm getting."
Oh yeah. He's like, "I don't know what I'm doing here." Yeah, I seen it.
I get. He was trying to. It was that he lost focus, but it's like he lost focus. This is the man with the suitcase.
No, he's not. He still doesn't have the codes.
Why did Trump never turn him over?
The conspiracy theory is prior to what, 59? They did the inauguration on March 4th. So I mean, I've seen it. So the flag behind you, behind me, it doesn't have that yellow frill, right?
Oh, correct.
I seen a guy who did a video on the fact that the yellow frill is for a contested constitution or something. And that
find that one.
A non-yellowed frill flag is a union country or union state or something like that. And in 2019 and in 2020, if you look at the flags at the CPAC stage, they're yellow frill all the way around. 2021 doesn't have yellow frill.
Well, no, you know why? Orange bad. It looked way too much like Trump. They had to get rid of it.
It's yellow.
Like
it's not orange. It's yellow. I mean, if we're just going to start discriminating against colors, what's the point in pronouns? Fuck, dude, come on.
Yeah, I mean it just drives me insane anymore. It's so obvious anymore, and they don't even hide it that it's politics, and people just don't.
Are we really calling it? Are we really calling it just politics? Because I just think it's blatant ignorance that they're not hiding. These people have to know that they are just fucking ignorant.
I would say those words kind of go together. I mean, because, but here's the problem. I don't know if they're not in right now. If you were in another country, looking at this, even someone like Putin, my mind just went blank. But you pick a world leader. When he's looking at this country and what our leaders are doing to us, they're probably going, "That shit's fucking genius." These people are clueless, or if they're not clueless, they're not doing shit about it. They might as well be living in communist because the American people have given up every ounce of power. They have zero now. They've got it written. It's written right there that they have all the power, and they're using zero of it. Zero.
But if you use power, if you use any part of the preamble,
then you're a terrorist and a Nazi, damn it.
You're labeled a terrorist and put in Gitmo.
Exactly. So
but we voted for that. We said sure. Oh God, they attacked us. So Patriot Act. Now it's fuck you. You disagree with me? You're a fucking terrorist.
Yeah, and that shows the genius of the. This is why I'm telling you it's all politics, because it was a Republican and a Republican Senate that passed the Patriot Act, and now it's mostly being used against Republicans.
Yep. Do you think it's a feel good? Do you think the Patriot Act was the circumstances that brought up the Patriot Act?
I'll tell you exactly what 9/11 was. 9/11 was, and this is where, if you want to go into conspiracy theory, this is where I might jump on board a little bit, because I'm that guy. I'm that guy that I don't buy the government pulled this off on their own. You want to say they let it happen? I might be a little bit more on board. But the government, again, I'll go back to Bill Clinton couldn't get a blowjob in the White House with only 2 people that knew about it without everybody knowing. So there's no way in hell that the government could plan something and ram 2 planes through, make hundreds of people disappear, and not somebody go, hey, you know what I know?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to talk. But beyond that, the Patriot Act, what the Patriot Act did was give the, forever people in Congress a license to write anything and everything they've always wanted to write. Because the entire country was we got attacked, modern times, we got attacked on our own land. Hey, you know what? Whatever you want to do to protect us, because I don't want to have to go to Walmart with an AR strapped to me. Whatever you got to do to protect us, do it. Mm-hmm. And we let them. And we let them do it because that was the bang fear factor right there. I mean,
but what do you think this pandemic's going to do?
Oh, I think it's it's part due of 2/11 or 9/11. It's the second part.
I mean, God, how many of these vaccine things have you heard so far? So we've got the vaccine that has to stay cold. You got to take 2 doses. Now there's a vaccine that doesn't have to be cold, so it can be shipped more readily available, and you only need 1 dosage. But even if you take the vaccine, you still have to social distance and wear a mask.
But have you also started to notice that we're slowly but surely melting away those social distancing things? So they were like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to go do stuff because until everybody gets vaccinated, right?" Well, right. Why
they changed the ruling of herd mentality. They made herd mentality instead of everybody gets sick and gets over it. Herd mentality is everybody needs to be vaccinated, then you're immune.
Well, but here's the thing, though. But they're not following that. Nope. Everybody needs to be vaccinated because they're opening things back up a lot quicker. So they're
Texas.
Now they're allowing different events. They're allowing third sporting events capacity. So 10,000 people can be at an Indians game instead of like 32,000 people.
No. 10,000 won't be at an Indians game.
3,000 probably won't be at an Indians game.
But they're allowing to open back up before this so-called, everybody's herd, we're back to herd immune. We're not even close because, they're still only giving the vaccinations to old people and people that work in hospitals.
Pretty much, yeah. First responders.
At least here in Ohio, if anybody that's outside of Ohio is watching this, please.
I'm just letting you know. I hope to God they look at me and say, "Hey, you need to take the vaccine." I'll say, "Hey, you can kiss my ass."
Right.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? And for me, the vaccine, I get, I get why people in hospitals would want to take it. I get why first responders would want to take it. I get why old people want to take it. Much like the flu vaccine. But here's the problem for me. Because I was a kid that always, played in the dirt and did, I ate, things that fell on the ground. If my food fell on the ground on a dirty pier, I'd pick it up and still eat it. I built my immune system, I think, fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my parts inside, I fucked them up, but that's different. My immune system so far, okay. My wife, who works for a major hospital system, over the last 15 years, she's had to. It's not a question. She has to get it, the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
She's gotten the flu in those 15 years, not from the vaccine, but she has still gotten the flu 5 times. I have still slept in the same bed, eaten off the same forks, done everything and gotten it 0 times, never taken the vaccine. So, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice on this one too.
Well, the funniest thing I heard this
if I'm not sick, I'm not taking the cure.
Well, the funniest thing I heard this past week is you've heard of flu A and you've heard of flu B. Have you ever heard of flu C? Oh, wait, I think they're calling that by a different name.
Probably.
Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. The flu numbers went.
When the COVID numbers went. But here's the only thing I'll say to that. Okay. It does make sense because I watched a panel discussion of left doctors, right doctors, and just straight up scientists like F you guys on the right, F you guys on the left guys. They pretty much said yes, the flu number is going to be down for simple reasons because people that are wearing the masks that may or may not get sick they're not spreading it because they are wearing, because it's less contagious than COVID, so to speak. So you're less likely to spread the flu because people are not socializing in restaurants like they used to. They're not socializing in bars like they used to. They're not, socializing at home on holidays so in just that aspect, yes, cases are going to be down, period. Not to mention the fact, but if you go back and look at 2019, drunk driving deaths were down because you couldn't go to the fucking bar at 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
I mean, there's cause and effect that it has nothing to do with they're winning the war on COVID or they're winning the war on flu. It's simply that people are being more cautious because of the fear of COVID, so other things aren't spreading like they would. Just think about how much less travel we've had, around the world, and how many less people have come to our country and we've gone to their country and so on and so forth.
In that same vein, does that not lead credence to the lack of communication and the fact that we the people can't rise up because we're told that we can't be together?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think, again, that's what we were just talking about earlier.
Did we not say that at the beginning of all this? It's kind of funny that the first things they shut down were bars and restaurants.
Oh, yeah. Places
isn't that where everybody got together to talk about it? I mean, if you're a simple-minded person and you don't think about politics or structure of coincidence or anything, stop and just think about the whole timeline of COVID. It started early. It ramped up in the middle of the summer. It ramped up extra high during the election cycle.
That was just a coincidence.
Quit being the fucking devil's advocate. I'm sorry. They built this shit to put you in a fucking mindset of terrified. I mean, I've actually talked to people who the only source of information is mainstream media. The only thing they can do is stay in their house with their kids because school's shut down. They're virtual learning. Their job told them to go home, remote work, whatever. So they're stuck at the house all day. They get their cable package. They watch their cable news, and all that cable news. I mean, Fox News can prove it to you right now. The minute Biden got elected, Fox News flipped their script. They were not Patriot News Network anymore.
Oh no, for sure. Well, but look at it. But it's all. I think it all ties in because think about before. I mean, back in November of last year, the shootings had gone. There wasn't a shoot. I called it then. Something was going to happen, and then COVID did. Not that I called COVID, but you knew something. The script was. Think about this. So when and we can, this is definitely deep rabbit hole, but I'm gonna go there anyways. When Trump first got in, you had all this Antifa stuff, you had all the the BLM movement really, really starting to spark up. Yeah, I mean everything, all these groups are starting to spark up, but 2 years into all of that, what was also starting to happen before COVID? What was also starting to happen at those rallies? Groups like us and many others like us were starting to cross that line and have conversations with those people, and partially agreeing. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Just because a black guy gets pulled over and he's and he reached for his wallet and got shot, yeah, that shit shouldn't happen.
Right.
We started talking with, and to some degree, identifying, which we always have, but identifying and sympathizing with a lot of their causes and the things they wanted, not the rioting but that's the conversations we had started though. Hey, you know what? I get why you feel like you feel, but dude, if you go burn down my neighbor's house, I'm gonna shoot you myself. That's not gonna help your cause. You want us to get on board? This is how we do it. F these gates, F these borders between us. Let's talk. Think about Aubrey. He came to probably the biggest 2A patriot as a BLM member to have conversations. To have conversations. People were crossing those lines and starting to have conversations, and then bam, COVID.
Look at Bishop. Look at Bishop just this past year. Bishop with the Black Panthers in Columbus. Straight up conversation. It wasn't a screaming match. That was the Black Panthers and the BLM movement there in Columbus.
The thing our government fears the most is that some of the extremist groups on both sides get together, have a conversation, and show up. If the BLM and the Proud Boys showed up on the steps of Congress together, they would shit themselves. Mm-hmm. The people inside that building would be like, this is the end. Because that would be if you could get those two sides to agree. They're not going to agree on everything. If they could agree on the 5 things they do agree, and they show up on those steps together, that's how you get the people in that building to listen to you. But as long as we keep,
let me play a little trivia with you. Let me play a little trivia with you. With the current situation in DC, I don't think anybody of the Hopper class could get anywhere near those steps to show that they're united.
Knock that fucking fence down myself.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying. We halt the border wall, but we'll build a wall around DC because they're the special ones. Get the vote, boys.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify why. Let me clarify why I say that. And it's not a terroristic thing. It's not a threat. It has nothing to do with that. The fact of the matter is that Washington, D.C. is the hub of our government. Our government. Not the 535 F-tards that we've elected, which, we can get into that subject too, why we keep electing fucktards. But those 535 people, there are representatives, and damn it, if they're not doing what we want, there's no way in hell there should be a fence around that city so that we can get in there and redress our grievances. No, it's one of the biggest parts of this Constitution. Putting up that fence is the biggest First Amendment violation this country has ever performed.
And I asked this 2 weeks ago. Why is it still up? It was there for the inauguration.
Because they're trying to pass a bill to make it permanent. That's why.
Yeah.
But it was there for the inauguration. Why is it still up? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an American citizen and they permanently put a fence with a check gate at the capital of this country, you are no longer American. You are a fucking slave in an open range fucking plantation. Get over your shit, march your ass to that fence, and the millions upon millions of us will push it over together.
Well, yeah, but that's really, if you, but it's textbook. Dude, this is history. And saying it's Nazi Germany, I get, I get where that makes people go.
Did Stalin have a moat or a fence or a wall around his?
You're first, when you get into office, and mind you, the 535 people that are there supposedly representing us are in on it.
Oh.
In on it. So those people right now, not only are they fencing themselves in and building their fortress, they're then looking to disarm us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
and I don't care who you are, what you believe, what you voted for, who you voted for, how you voted for, how many times you voted. If you don't get that, if you don't get history, you're an idiot.
And that's where the ignorance comes into play.
Yeah.
Take it out of the history books. Tell them everything. How many times, guys, have we been told by everybody and their brother, what you learned in school was wrong. It was wrong. No statement to what was right. Just everything you know is wrong. So now just listen to this guy.
Well, yeah. Well,
Anderson Cooper has the answers. Listen to him.
Yeah. Well, they're out. They've taken it, and maybe that's part of the problem of especially people 30 and under. Maybe and they're, because they're not told to look it up. Maybe they don't know the history. Maybe they just flat out they hear crazy people like us talking about dude, this has happened in history. Well, wait a minute. My textbook here from school, I don't see it anywhere in here.
Wikipedia. That is the most dangerous thing I've ever seen in my life. A fucking program that tells you history that can be rewritten by anybody.
Anyone. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's the bigger problem. But if you think about it, that in turn goes back to just what I was talking about. Because let's be honest, a vast majority of even right wing, for that matter, these right wing groups and the left wing groups, whether BLM or Antifa or the Proud Boys or any of them, what's the average age?
20s.
What's the average age?
Yeah.
I bet it. Under 30, right?
Oh yeah, easy.
Under 30.
Easy. Early 20s.
This is the product of those history books. They have no idea. I think that's why people like Antifa that does the shit they do, they have no concept of what they're doing, and we've talked about this before, who's really pulling the strings. They have no concept of the historical implications of what they're doing, because they don't know about the red shirt or the brown shirts and how communism started. They don't know because they weren't taught it, because you can't, if you teach them that, it's harder to program them.
Right.
Yep.
Period. So it makes people like us, makes us boomers or whatever the catchphrase is today.
Crazy.
That's just crap. They told us that the history books you guys used were the bullshit books. This is the real history. No. Deleted history is not. Why again? Why do you think a vast majority of these kids, and I've seen it, oh man, I wish I could find the video. There was a group of kids when in somewhere in the middle of the fervor of the statues coming down, there was an older gentleman who came by himself. It was a statue, and I can't remember. It was either, I don't know, his, whatever, his great grandpa. It was someone who fought in the Revolutionary War, or the Civil War, and related somehow. And these kids were here. They were just, they were destroying it. And he came up and he had a conversation with them about why it was important to him and the history. I mean, this video goes on for hours. And
I'll tell you right now.
And at the end, these kids were like, "We never knew."
I'll tell you right now, man. I'd hate to be on the tour bus with some Antifa leftist, ignorant people in Gettysburg.
Oh,
you
God,
get Confederate row.
Oh, they're losing their minds.
Their heads would explode.
Yeah.
But you can see that this mentality and mantra was there. I mean, Jeremy, have you been to Gettysburg?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So did you take any of the tours or anything?
I took one earlier in the morning.
Okay. Well, I remember that they explained that up until like it wasn't a few, but up until a couple of decades ago, they couldn't put Confederate flags on anything. The Confederate row side where the Confederates were, they were just like statues. They didn't have Confederate flags, and then one of them finally got the permission to actually put stars and bars on the statue, and then they all started kind of doing it. So even in the very beginning, after the war was over and they started putting the monuments up, they didn't want to see that flag, but it was for a different reason. They didn't want to see that flag because it was the enemy of the time. It was the other side. It was the losing team. Today, it's just, well, it's racist. No, it's not. It's a part of our history, and we have to understand it, because if we don't understand it and don't know why it happened, it'll happen again.
Right.
And we're in the midst of that. You are literally watching elitists. And the sad part is, in my mind, we're not the Confederates.
No.
A lot of the patriots out there want to scream up and down that we're the Confederates. South's going to rise again. We're the Confederates. We're not, guys. The Patriot movement is the United American people. It's the USA. We are the Constitution. We are the American flag. These leftists are the ones that would have been burying that freaking stars and bars in the ground saying this is our ground and this is what we're doing. They'd be the one on the back heel. You look at the military, you can watch the news and they'll tell you all day long that more than half the military is Biden supporting. Watch his fucking inauguration. They're not. Way more than half of the military that was on site for that inauguration turned their backs to the man as he drove by in the motorcade. Yeah. I can show you video of people from TikTok who go to the VA once a month. And in the front door of the VA, there is a sign and a picture that says, Commander-in-Chief. Every military base I've ever been on, in every headquarters building, there's a wall that says chain of command. And the very top one is Commander-in-Chief. While I was still in, it was Bush and it was Obama. Then it was freaking Trump. This person for the last 2 months since inauguration has gone to the VA and walked in front of that sign with her camera, and it says there is no current picture available of the Commander-in-Chief or the President of the United States. It's a blank piece of paper, and that's all it says. No current picture of the President of the United States.
Well, that's because they're just waiting for Kamala to get in so they can put the permanent one.
You you want to start conspiracy? That's how you start conspiracy, man. I'm telling you right now, when Trump was elected president, the day he said, "I solemnly swear," there was a fucking picture of that man up there. You're telling me that in the 20 goddamn first century, in the year 2021, photography's that goddamn dated that we can't get a picture of a man on every fucking place in the country? They can send the son of a bitch through a fucking picture on a fucking computer and be printed at the office and hung up. You're telling me that they can't get a picture of Joe Biden? I mean, fuck, he's been in front of 1,000 cameras for the last, what are we up to? 60-something days? Right? So 60-some days. He's been in front of a camera almost every single day doing this.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of pictures of that.
There is more than enough time to take a fucking picture, whether it's him doing this or him signing it, holding it, crop out the holding of it, and just have his head sitting there.
No.
You got a picture. There's a picture. Why in the VA building is there no picture of the current commander-in-chief?
They're trying to find one without
2
that
months
blank
after
stare.
inauguration. You want to sit there and tell me that conspiracy theorists just sit there and think to themselves all these crazy-ass ideas? It's not. It's looking at reality around you and not having blinders on of CNN going, wait a minute. When Obama was president, his picture was up in those buildings, and the day Trump was inaugurated, Obama's picture came down and Trump's picture went up. There was no time. I mean, it was like at the minute, like at noon, they changed the picture, right? So we're almost 2 months into this. They still don't have this picture up there. What else is not happening right? Well, then you go look at all these pictures. You see this crack in the Oval Office wall. There's a big black streak about that wide in the Oval Office wall in one of the pictures. Well, of course, they're going to be like, that's a fake building. They just put that together and it's separated. All right, okay, let's keep looking at reality. Why did Biden and Kamala take planes back from Texas and they weren't nomenclated Air Force One and Air Force Two?
Yeah, that was so I haven't looked into that. That was I haven't.
Okay, but hold on. We're not trying to get into details. I'm just throwing out the conspiracy, the understanding of why conspiracy happens, because either these people are willfully ignoring what their duties are by not putting out a presidential headshot to all these facilities, or at least this one particular facility. They're willfully ignoring the fact that this man is supposed to be the commander-in-chief and is supposed to be flying around in Air Force One, and her, Kamala, Camel Toe, whatever you want to call the chick, should be flying around in Air Force Two, and they're not. So if they're willfully doing this, the question you need to be asking as an intelligent individual is why? Why are they not in Air Force One and Air Force Two? Why is there not a picture up 2 months into his presidency at a VA building that is supposed to have it up there, period? Why did he not give a State of the Union address?
Well, but now, so all of that, let's go back to the military part.
Okay, which part? Which part of the military?
Well, all
the picture?
Yeah, any of it. Anything involving, Air Force, all that.
Okay.
Is part of that and or all of that because of all of a sudden this witch hunt or whatever they're calling it, of saying that they should now weed out Trump supporters from the military? I mean, is this blowback from that?
No, I don't think so. It's the structure. Like I said, when I was on the reserve unit, the minute the commander-in-chief changed, the picture changed in that building. The picture's there so that the soldier, even the E1, fresh out of boot, knows this is your chain of command. You have this guy as your first sergeant.
That's my point, though. Isn't that so? To some degree, isn't that the next level below Biden, couldn't that possibly them not recognizing him as their commander-in-chief? Which is not a good thing, by the way, but
I could see that. I could see orders coming down from a structure below Biden saying we're not putting his picture up because he's illegitimate. Like I said, you look at the video and the photographic evidence of him doing that motorcade after the inauguration, those troops turned their back to him. There was a handful of troops standing there at the position of attention, not even saluting, just position of attention. The rest of them were back turned facing a wall.
Yeah. So I saw it.
So structurally, yeah, is it possible that there's somebody way up here at the top of that food chain, right below Biden, or maybe a couple of steps? It's like, yeah, no, fuck that. Illegitimate president, we're not doing it. But again, that leads back to the idea of conspiracy. You've got news anchors that literally get paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to sit in front of this exact same shit, a ring light and a camera, and tell you what somebody else told them to tell you. The difference between them and us is nobody tells me what to tell you. Nobody tells Cosper what to tell you. We don't have
sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing.
Right. We don't have a script. Jeremy's tried in the past to give us like line items to talk about, and we still run off the tear.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the military and the structure from Biden down a couple of steps or whatever has stopped and halted that?
But isn't that? But wouldn't that be some? That would be some. If that's possible, isn't that? I mean, that's some crazy shit. Then
it would be somebody's talking point, a counseling statement at least. But is that what's happening? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so, and I don't really know. But the bottom line is the man really? I mean, is he really the president, or is he just the president in name only, and every other person in this government's now doing what they're doing? I mean, bottom line, it's been proven the man's never been given the command codes for a nuclear detonation. The dude went behind everybody's back except for Putin himself, who he told was bombing fucking Syria.
Well, no, but that's not completely true, because they gave him the second suitcase because the first suitcase traveled with Trump to Florida. After the inauguration, you can actually see the guy with the other suitcase, and it happens right after the inauguration's finished and he's made president. The other bag goes dark, and then the guy was there, because there was one of the military. It might have been military.com, or one of them had the picture of which was kind of amusing in a way. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Show the guy with the freaking box in his hand. Cool. But whatever. But they showed the other guy there waiting for Biden. So he's got the box. Now, whether he's got the code, I don't know how that works, but I know he's got the box.
Let's pretend he's got the box. Let's pretend he's got the code. Fine. With this bombing of Syria, the allegations right now that he didn't tell his own vice president, but he told Vladimir Putin that he was bombing Syria. So who does he really work for?
Who do any of them work for? I think is the real question.
Now on that same topic, is he really the president? Tell me one thing he's done for any, and I'm talking every single man, woman, and child that is a legal citizen of these United States. What has this man done for anyone?
Well, but that's a loaded question, because if you were to ask, we could go on Facebook right now and find thousands, if not millions, of people who tell you the same thing about Trump.
If he's doing what he's doing and he signs what's supposed to come up here to the next week, I'm getting an extra $100 in my unemployment every week. So he's doing something for me.
Okay. We'll go with that. But did the pipeline stop anything?
No, it just made me go from $60 gas tank fill up to $80 some a fill up.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, and even that is, even that's OPEC. Again, I've said this before. OPEC, the minute a new president comes in, I mean, you can go check the history books.
Yeah, I agree to that.
OPEC does this every time.
It's the market playing the fact that who it is and what
it's not just the market. What the difference is, however, when OPEC did that to Trump in the first month or two, Trump said, "Oh yeah, fuck you, I'm signing this Keystone bill.
Yep.
How do you like me now?"
Right.
He said, "Fine, you know what? You want to jack your shit up? We'll just pump it from Canada ourselves then.
Yep.
We'll put it in an expressway."
Well, but what I'm saying is BLM. We're at 60 some days. BLM still hasn't been contacted by the Obama or the.
Shocker! You mean that the Democrats don't give a shit about that vote?
Let's not
Imagine
talk
that.
about that. Let's talk about the fact that there's a literal blue wave happening right now, but it's actually a blue wave running to the red ocean. There's a lot of people going, well, we fucked up, so
yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Well, now they're just waiting for Kamala to knock out Joe, and they're hoping that turns out better. Only thing I can think of. I ain't got nothing else going for him.
And on that note,
this guy
we're at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. If you don't watch this guy speak and go, yeah, maybe I don't want my crazy uncle being president.
I just want to let you know. He is the most popular president, the most popular man in America. He got 80 million votes, albeit
allegedly.
Albeit that dog. I've heard legitimately that dogs voted.
Oh boy.
I know that Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder, went on an excursion to addresses, and almost every address he went to was a vacant lot or an open field.
It doesn't shock me.
Well, I'm sure they.
But hey, there was absolutely no voter fraud.
Okay. It's 7 after. I'm not opening up any cans.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Goodbye.
Thank you guys for watching that watched live. Thank you for watching if you watch later or when you watch later. Thank you everybody that shared. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, the bell. You'll get notifications right to your phone. Let me see really quick here if my notification is safe for work. Or at least what's around it. Oh, my notification's gone. Okay. Never mind. I was going to show you my notification, how nice and big it is. But you'll get your notifications right on your phone when we come live.
Hit the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
Hit the bell.
Again, HeartlandDefenders.com. Go there. Check us out. We are doing a little bit of revamping there, I do believe. But we are still... come check us out at the Summit County and Cuyahoga County.
20th and 21st, and then the following weekend in Berea.
Yep. In Berea at the Cuyahoga County gun shows. You can get some of the t-shirts. I'm not wearing one, but everything from where the people are pissed.
Nope, got work on still.
Some of us
I just got my Wilby hoodie on, boys.
Well, do we still have in stock the We the People Are Pissed masks?
Yes.
So yes. you get yourself, even if you want a mask. I know a lot of us don't want to wear them, but
Hey, get you a We the People Are Pissed freaking neck gator. I think we got those too, don't we?
Neck
Neck
gators,
gators too.
T-shirts.
Get you a neck gator says We the People Are Pissed.
Some of us might even be wearing F-bomb masks. We're not selling those currently, but we did get a few.
I'm working on it.
If we get a few more, if we get a few more people asking for them, maybe we'll order some.
Yep, I'm working on it.
The amount of the F-bomb is the popularity of the F-bomb stuff. I see people going, yeah, I want a mask, please.
Yeah. I'm actually, I think I might be able to get, and it'll be ironic, but I think I got a whole big box of the masks coming from the state for free, the white ones.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn them all into F-bombs if I get them.
Anyways, thank you guys for your time to be on the show. And then, again, thank you everybody else.
Appreciate it.
We will see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
And same time, same place, same channel. Have a good night. Be safe.
Same crazy people time, same crazy people channel.